Without you, this entrance can be opened. It just needs to wait for a few more people. Niguang said lightly, but since you are here, there is no need to wait. In that case, let's do it. Zilong smiled. Hearing the conversation between the two, Xianxia immediately knew the identity of the person who came. That purple hair man has the second order Void King realm cultivation level, and he is the master of the Violet Star, Zilong. After understanding this, the identity of the other person is clearly the Violet Star Young Master, Zidong. Xianxia was able to know he was called Zidong, because Jiu Jianxin accidentally mentioned it. Jiu Jianxin mentioned Zidong and Shuiyu before, and naturally recognized Zidong's powerful strength. These three are the most famous young master in the entire Star Territory. Because the three of them represent three different big forces, and they are all future successors of these three forces. Under them, there are also many powerful young generations who are famous, such as Xu Binbai, the disciple of the senior Wu Dao, such as Shan Xingla of Monster Emperor Star, and the heirs of several monster race, but the name is not as loud and big as these three. But it is undeniable that the future Star Territory will be dominated by these people. Xianxia didn't know what kind of grievances Zidong and Shuiyu had, or it was just the struggle between the younger generations. Anyway, when the two people met, they both showed an expression of eagerness and seemed to wish to fight here. But it's obviously not a good time right now. The arrival of Zilong allowed the opening of the entrance to be executed. So, Niguang and Zilong took charge of it. Called on all the powerhouses of the Void King realm to start their efforts. After a brief discussion, the Void King realm powerhouses on the scene scattered one after another, each chose a position close to the entrance, and waited intently. Then, let's start? Zilong cast his eyes on Niguang and asked inquisitively. Niguang nodded slightly, and the next moment, the majestic Saint Yuan in his body suddenly burst out, forming a complicated mark on his hands. Immediately afterwards, one hand pointed forward. A beam of energy visible to the naked eye shot out from his hand and poured into the white circular entrance. Zilong also laughed, urging his own Saint Yuan to pour into the entrance. Other Void King realm powerhouses have followed suit one after another, even the one who has been wrapped in black chi without revealing his true face. The man whose origin was unknown and quite suspicious didn't mean to neglect at this moment, and cooperated with other people to act. Suddenly a humming sound came from the entrance emitting white light, and the space cracks that were originally floating at the entrance seemed to be restrained by invisible power, and were frozen in place. And the entrance itself also seemed to have become a bottomless pit, greedily and madly devouring the Saint Yuan power of many Void King realm powerhouses. Of the people present, only Xianxia, Shuiyu, and Zidong, the three Void Return stage cultivators, didn't do anything, just watched from the side. After all, no matter how good the qualifications are, how powerful the foundation is compared with the Void King realm, there is some gaps. If they act to forcibly open the entrance of Lost Earth, the three will only waste their time and energy. Instead of wasting energy, it is better to retain strength and deal with the possible dangers after entering the Lost Earth. Time passed slowly. The expression of every Void King realm powerhouse is not easy, and they continue to pour the Saint Yuan into the entrance, causing them to consume a lot. Fortunately, they had prepared a lot of spirit pills for restoring the Saint Yuan, and they naturally used them all at the moment. The level of cultivation level is already clear at this moment. For example, Luolan and Quihong of First Order Void King realm. Fine sweat permeated on their foreheads, and their body trembles uncontrollably. Only the strong with Second Order Void King realm like Niguang and Zilong can maintain calmness. More and more space cracks were fixed at the entrance, and with the infusion of the Saint Yuan, the fluctuation of those space cracks gradually dissipated, and there were faint signs of becoming stable. Seeing this, Xianxia probably figured out how everyone would enter the Lost Earth. The fact is indeed as he had guessed. When the circular entrance with white light emitted a certain number of cracks in the stable space, Niguang suddenly shouted, "Okay. When the voice fell, all the Void King realms stopped one after another, each choosing a different space crack, turning into flowing light, and rushing into the entrance. After they entered, the cracks in the stabilized space suddenly rioted and began to wander and shuttle. Niguang and Luolan stood side by side and waved at Yongkai and Shuiyu. After they flew over, they each released Saint Yuan, wrapped their figure, and rushed towards the largest space crack. On the side, purple light suddenly appeared, and Zilong's laughter came. "Brother Ni, this old man will go ahead, don't die in it." When the words were over, Zilong took Zidong and disappeared in the entrance. Niguang gave a cold snort, and then rushed in. In an instant, the space that originally crowded with people became empty. After everyone disappeared, the entrance began to distort and change, and more space cracks emerged, gradually becoming more dangerous. It is conceivable that even if there are as many Void King realm powerhouses coming, there is no way to open the entrance again. If you want to enter, you can only wait for the next opportunity, and the next opportunity, it's unknown what year and month it is. After Yongkai followed Luolan into the space crack, he felt weightless. It seemed that the whole figure was falling into the endless abyss, and the divine consciousness also felt great pressure. This is the most significant sign of space teleportation. He could perceive that Luolan was working to resist pressure from all directions, but such transmission was nothing to him. After all, he is proficient in space force, and he has long since been accustomed to the pressure from this space force. The entire transmission process was very fast, almost entering the entrance the moment before, and the next moment Yongkai saw another world scenery before his eyes. The sky is dim, and chaotic power seems to be surging above it. There is no sun or moon, no stars. The land is desolate and dry, with no grass growing, and cracks formed like ravines. The place where everyone appeared was in midair, so as soon as they came here, they fell down involuntarily. Yongkai turned his head and looked around and found that Nigong, Shuiyu, and Luolan were all there. The others are not here. This is also easy to understand. After all, everyone did not enter this place through the same space crack, and the corresponding transmission location for each space crack should be very different. Running the Saint Yuan, the four fell lightly downwards. Niguang and Luolan both showed a relieved expression. "Fortunately, we didn't encounter danger as soon as we came here," Luolan said softly. The strong Niguang also nodded in agreement, feeling that he and the others was lucky. The Void King realm powerhouses who have always entered the Lost Earth have not experienced as smooth sailing. Not to mention that there are many crises that cannot even be resolved in the Void King realm. It is said that the dangers that may be encountered when entering this place are enough to make ordinary Void King realm unable to cope the chaos. In case you encounter some extremely fierce monster beast, it is possible to fall here. The 9th order monster beast are everywhere here, and the 10th order monster beast are as many as cow hair. There are even the legendary 11th order and 12th order monster beast. But the luck of the four people was really good. After falling down, Yongkai noticed the difference between this place and the star territory. The law of heaven and earth here seems extremely powerful. His Saint Yuan and divine consciousness were not affected, but the power of the Shi potential field was suppressed. He tried to release the power of the Shi potential field, but found that the power that can be exerted has been weakened by at least half. Perceiving his movements, Shuiyu said from the side, "No need to try. Everyone is like this. Not only our Shi potential field, but Uncle Ni's domain field will also be suppressed. The law here is powerful and profound. Shi and domain have varying degrees of influence." Yongkai nodded lightly, his expression slightly relaxed. Niguang looked around and released his spiritual mind. After confirming that there was nothing that could threaten him, he turned his head and looked at Luolan and said, "Elder Luo, what are you going to do next?" Luolan was startled, and said suspiciously, "Mr. Ni means?" Niguang pondered for a moment, and said, "Let's put it this way. The reason why the old man invited you is because the third young master wants this young man by his side. As for Elder Luo, we never think about it. You haven't entered this place before and it's hard for the old man to say it. Now that you have entered, the old man wants to ask, will you act with us next or act alone? But I will say this first, this young man must stay with the old man. Although he didn't know why Xueyu insisted on keeping Yang Kai with them, he knew Xueyu's character well and knew that the third young master will never do things without reason. Since Xueyu want Yang Kai to stay, there must be a reason for it. Seeing Luo Lan's contemplation, Ni Guang said, if you are with the old man, your safety is bound to increase a lot, but the old man does not guarantee that you will get any benefits. If you are separated from the old man, although the risk factor is higher, if you can get some things here, it would make the trip here worthwhile. This means that even if Ni Guang finds something good, he will not give it to Luo Lan, unless he needs Luo Lan's cooperation, and finally distributes the benefits in proportion to what she contribute. I understand. Luo Lan nodded, but I still want to be with you. After all, Yang Kai is someone I brought here, so this mistress can't ignore it. She didn't dare to act alone without Yang Kai. Before learning that Yang Kai was proficient in Space Force, Luo Lan hadn't even prepared to come to this lost earth. Even though she had already received the news, she was not entirely sure that she would survive here alone. She also came here after knowing that Yang Kai was proficient in Space Force. So she didn't want to be separated from Yang Kai. Seeing her choice, Ni Guang didn't show any unexpected expressions. If that's the case, let's go together. Well, Elder Luo, what is your main purpose for this trip? Luo Lan glanced at Yang Kai, pursed her lips and smiled. There is no special purpose, let's go. She did not dare to tell the thing about shocking Void Beast, otherwise with Ni Guang's shrewdness, he would definitely infer something. To be continued.